Hey there, I'm Jim, and if you've ever felt like your love was too much to handle, you're not alone. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on avoidant partners, the ones who shut down, disappear, and then reappear just when you're starting to move on. If you're tired of wondering whether you're truly loved or just a backup plan, this video is for you. Because not everyone who comes back deserves to be let back in. And if you're stuck between loving someone and losing yourself, this is the wake-up call you need. Make sure to subscribe and watch to the end, because I'm going to show you how to hold your boundaries, reclaim your voice, and never hand the keys to your peace back to someone who shattered it. One of the clearest and most painful red flags of an avoidant partner is this: they disappear when you need them the most. Not when things are fun, not when life is light, but when you're hurting, vulnerable, or simply seeking emotional closeness. The moment you open up, share your heart, or ask for reassurance, they withdraw. Silence replaces support, coldness replaces care, and suddenly, you're left wondering, did I say too much? But in truth, you've simply brushed up against a level of emotional intimacy they can't handle. Avoidance isn't just physical distance, it's emotional absence. You seek connection, they crave space. You ask for comfort, they retreat into silence. And that doesn't just leave you lonely, it makes you question your emotional worth. The issue isn't that you're asking for too much, it's that they can't offer enough. And if you're not careful, you'll start shrinking your emotional needs just to maintain the connection. But real love never asks you to dim your light just to be accepted. And then, the most confusing part begins. Just when things seem to be going well, they start pulling away. This is one red flag many overlook, because it doesn't happen suddenly, it creeps in slowly. With every new layer of emotional or physical intimacy, avoidant partners feel more threatened. To them, intimacy isn't sweet, it's unsafe. The closer you get, the more their defense system kicks in. They start making excuses to see you less. They avoid deeper conversations. Physical affection, once natural, starts to fade. You feel the warmth slipping, but can't quite name why. And being emotionally attuned, you begin to blame yourself. Maybe you're asking for too much. Maybe you're being dramatic. But the truth is, this is just how they react when intimacy feels like losing control. They're not running from you. They're running from connection they never learned how to receive. And if you stay, hoping the distance will pass, you're handing your heart to someone who isn't emotionally mature enough to hold it. From pulling away from intimacy, a more dangerous red flag begins to appear: gaslighting. If silence makes you question yourself, gaslighting is what makes you completely disconnect from your inner truth. At first, you're just trying to express your feelings. You say you're hurt that they've pulled away, or that you feel unseen. But instead of listening, they get defensive. You're being too sensitive, or you're overthinking it. There's no real dialogue, just dismissal. No empathy, just deflection. You start doubting whether your feelings are valid or if you're just overreacting. You replay conversations in your head, analyzing every word to figure out if maybe this is your fault. That's how gaslighting works. Quiet, subtle, but devastating. It makes you lose trust in your own perception. And because you care about them, you give them emotional power. You believe that if you adjust yourself enough, they'll finally understand. But the truth is, they're not lacking clarity, they're lacking accountability. Gaslighting, even when unconscious, is a way of avoiding responsibility. They don't want to face guilt or discomfort, so they make you the problem. Over time, you stop speaking up. Every time you want to share something, the fear of being too much silences you. And that's when you're no longer living in your truth, you've been blurred out of your own story. If someone makes you doubt your feelings and your version of reality, they're not a partner, they're a threat to your emotional well-being. Gaslighting is just one piece of a deeper issue: emotional irresponsibility. When you try to speak up about your pain, they don't just deny it, they completely reject their role in causing it. You bring up something that hurt, they say you're bringing up the past. You express your emotions, they accuse you of making a big deal. Every time you attempt a conversation to find understanding or healing, they redirect it into an attack on how you said it, when you said it, or why you shouldn't have said it at all. And just like that, your pain is pushed aside again. For someone emotionally mature, taking accountability isn't threatening, it's an opportunity for deeper connection. But for avoidants who refuse to grow, Owning their mistakes means cracking the armor they've built to avoid feeling vulnerable. They won't sit with guilt, so they hand it to you. The result? You constantly feel like you're the problem, like every issue stems from you being too sensitive or bad at timing. And so, once again, you adjust, you shrink, you silence your voice, all in the name of keeping a fragile peace. But peace doesn't come from avoiding conflict. It comes from facing emotions with honesty and responsibility. And if someone can't do that, they're not ready for a healthy relationship. When they refuse to take accountability, you begin to silence your voice. But what's even more painful is that they make you believe that your love itself is the problem. You love deeply, you care sincerely, you're emotionally attuned and crave true connection. But instead of being appreciated, you're told you're too much, too emotional, too intense. And slowly, you begin to believe that if you could just love less, express less, be less of yourself, maybe then they'd finally accept you. This is one of the most subtle yet damaging forms of manipulation, making you feel like your very capacity to love is a burden, when in reality, it's not that you're too much, it's that they're too afraid to face real intimacy. To them, closeness equals vulnerability, and instead of facing that fear, they label your feelings as too much, as if your softness is the issue, not their avoidance. So you start dimming your light. You speak less, smile smaller, hold your emotions tighter, because you've learned that every time you show up fully, they pull further away. And in doing so, you don't just lose connection, you begin to lose yourself. Real love doesn't make you feel like you're too much. It doesn't ask you to shrink to fit. It invites you to shine in full. And if someone makes you feel like your love is something to fix, then they do not deserve a place in your heart. Because tenderness isn't weakness. It's a gift, one that should only be given to those who know how to treasure it. If you saw yourself in any part of these red flags, please don't blame yourself. You're not too sensitive, not too needy, and you're certainly not the problem. You're simply trying to connect with someone who doesn't have the capacity for healthy connection. Love isn't about who can endure the most pain or wait the longest. Love should never make you question your worth. It should never make you feel like a burden for loving deeply. Real love makes you feel safe to be fully yourself, not cautious with every feeling. And if they come back without change, without accountability, without learning how to show up fully, then closing that door isn't cruelty, it's self-respect. It's choosing peace over nostalgia, clarity over confusion. You don't need to beg to be loved right. You deserve someone who cherishes your heart from the start. If this video spoke to you, subscribe for more healing conversations ahead. And remember, your worth was never theirs. To define it lives in how fiercely you protect your own heart.